Some of the most vulnerable and neglected people in our region have found an ally and a friend in Rochester photographer Arleen Thaler. Armed with her favorite camera, which she requested from her husband rather than a wedding ring, she documents the lives of those often overlooked and misunderstood. As we'll learn in this story from WXXI's Need to Know, this labor of love project isn't about the photographer, but about getting a community to confront injustices in plain sight.
I'm going to take a few. I think of myself as a family photographer. I'm always in I spend so much time immersing myself in people's lives that I almost become unnoticed, like a family photographer would be. But as of late, I think of myself as a socially engaged photographer, as I'm engaging the community, getting to know them, making those connections. It's really about social engagement. Do you want to get into the picture? And I bring back picture for you too. Okay, you can stand together. You know, when I first started doing photography, I was going down to New York City. I was photographing a lot of homeless people that I thought were different than me, when really now I realized they're just like me. And as I was photographing them, I would come home, and I repeat myself with this so much, but they were really gratuitous. I didn't have their names. I didn't have any information on them. I didn't even take a moment to get to know them. I did a drive-by shooting is what I would call it. Now I sit and talk. Manny? Okay, I'll just throw them up to you then.
Hey, forgot this one here.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Here, let me get that. So one thing that's always stuck with me was C.W. Ersley from the House of Mercy said once, after months of photographing there, I said, C.W., why does everybody here trust me? I don't understand. They really like me and they really trust me. And he said, you break bread with them. Like, you're sleeping with them and you break bread with them. So that's when it all really changed for me. So immersion to me is literally sleeping, cohabitating with these people and living part of their life with them. So now when I walk away, I'm like, oh, I know their life. I feel like a lot of the things that I've gone through in my life, I've had a stillbirth, I've been in a recovered domestic violence survivor. For a long time, those things, that's how I defined myself. I am this, I am that, but what I really realized is it's a gift. I am now able to go out into the community and talk to people who are struggling with those same issues.
There's so many people out there that have no medical coverage, sick as a dog, and have infections and cuts.
I have an ongoing argument with God, but I get it. I get why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm not an overly religious person. I'm a very spiritual person, but I do believe that this is my ministry. I don't know if that sounds cheesy or what, but I really believe that my purpose is to photograph, to raise awareness of this, situations and issues going on in society, or at least in Rochester. One of the prostitutes just told me the other day that her pimp's got 9 girls in a room off Lyle. He's using a taser on. How can we not, how do I get in and get those photos to say, see, this is really happening and we as a society have to do something about it. I do get called out on being a gratuitous artist or a gratuitous photographer. That's one of the most, outside of someone I photographed getting backlash, being considered gratuitous is one of the worst things. I've cried over it, I've had anguish over it. And on that note, recently I had some pictures that someone shared on Facebook or on Twitter, some of my street photos, very harmless street photos, very beautiful photos. And a local Davey V, he goes by, called me out saying, at Arleen Thaler, so are you just a gratuitous photographer taking advantage of these people? And I realized that the good work my photography is doing far outweighs the handful of people who call it gratuitous. I don't have access to an EpiPen right now, but I can get that for you, okay? And I know, because gratuity, every photo I take, I wonder, am I being gratuitous? Especially with the street girls. I really struggle with that. But I know that I always 100% give back. I'm a starving artist. I do not make money off my photography. What little bit of money I make just goes back into my gas to be able to do what I do.
I know him too.
I knew going into this, I think it's the sacrifice my husband is allowing me to make, and he sacrifices a lot on his own to be able to pursue this. for me, my photography, not only do I engage the people that I'm connecting with as I'm photographing them, but once I share it with the world, I'm engaging people who can make a difference. So, you know, I'd like to think that recently a lot of the work that I've done with the human trafficking and prostitution on Lyle Ave, people who are in positions to make a difference see the photos, have that aha moment and say, wow, I didn't know this was going on in our community, or I did, but this is really what it looks like. I can come out now, I can help.
For more on Arleen Thaler and her social justice photography, visit arleenthalerphotography.com.